had him by the collar of the shirt. Y'all have done it in church, and I am yanking him to the seat. My client is about to fall out of his chair. He's like, you taught him so well. I'm like, hush. And you know how you do in church? You're smiling, and you become a ventriloquist. Because everybody's watching you, and you're threatening death. And I'm going, sit down and be quiet, and I am yanking him to his seat. He looked at me, and he goes, Mom, Jesus said anything. Guess what Nick got for Christmas? A Bible? No. No, he didn't. He got a dirt bike. What am I going to say? Jesus couldn't come through either? Nick Thomas is now 22 years old. This past spring, my son is now a race car driver. He is in a little sport called drifting. This is where the Tokyo Drift, where they slide the car sideways toward a wall at about 75 miles an hour. Nicholas started drifting just a little over a year ago and has quickly moved up into the top 10. He just moved into the top 10 back in the summer at 22 years old. And every time we walk away after the top 16 has been announced, he was like, his attitude is so amazing. And his vision of what he wants. He actually had an accident in his race car in a demo about 2 months ago, and his car is down for a while. So now Nick has decided he's going to race four-wheelers. And 3 weeks ago, while I was on the road, he went and did his first race in Kentucky and came in first place. He just keeps telling me, this is my gift and this is my dream, and I'm following it. Oh, the tenacity of the young people. Please grasp that. They choose success daily, and they do not take no personally. They just don't. I did not learn all this growing up at Route 3 Newport, Mississippi. I had a wonderful mentor in my life, which was my piano teacher years ago. I started taking piano when I was 8 because my parents were very worried about me because I was so shy and so insecure, and they were afraid I was never going to talk to anybody. I got over that. And I was always too tall, my eyes were too big, you know, everything was just goofy on me when I was little, and I had this horrible self-esteem. And so they decided maybe if I had a talent, maybe things would change for me. So they put me in piano lessons. They kept hiring all the retired piano teachers because they were cheap, and they all kept dying. So every year I had to get a new teacher. Y'all, I couldn't make that stuff up. So when I was 13, I found a piano teacher who was 15 in the neighboring county, and we went over to that piano lesson the first day, never knowing my life was going to change forever. I truly believe that you're in this room today for a reason. There is something here for you, and I don't know what it is. Our job is to give you information and share with you. It's your job to figure out what you do with it. And so I walked into that music room, and here's this excited, just exuberant young woman like so many of you, and I've never seen any people like that. She was so happy and excited, but she was different because at age 11, she had been in a tragic car accident with her family, and the motor had come in and totally crushed the bone in her left leg. And the doctors at my hometown hospital said to this young woman at 11 years old, she will probably never walk again. They put 100 stitches in her face, they put a body cast on her body, and they sent her home. But she had faith. She had a belief inside her heart that was not willing to give up. And over the next few months, they watched as a cocoon of calcium formed around these crushed up pieces of bone, and when they cut the cast off, this young woman could walk. But her right leg had grown 2.5 inches longer than her left, and so when I came into her life, she was handicapped, walking with a severe limp, but her attitude was positive. And I remember saying to her, how can you be so happy? You walk with a limp, you have scars on your face. She said, Dale, they said I might not live, but I did. They told me I wouldn't walk, but I did. What is your problem? Think about that. Check your attitude. She said, from now on, when you walk in my door, we're going to talk about what you can do, not what you can't do. For 2 years, the life principles I've just given you, she gave to me. at a piano lesson. 2 years later, I'm back for piano. Everybody in that house is crying, squalling, as we say in Mississippi. I think y'all understand that. And I said, who died? And they said, nobody. Cheryl was miraculously healed last night. Her legs are as even as yours. I grew up in a little Southern Baptist church and had read about miracles, but I never planned to see one. I walked in that music room, and that young woman stood up, and her legs were as even as mine. I do not tell you that to ask you to believe it. I tell you because it's true. She jumped up, and she says, look, I can do stuff I couldn't do before. Before, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't jump or cheerlead because I didn't know what leg I was coming down on. That was her attitude. The whole time she was handicapped, she focused on her music. I said, girl, what are you going to do? Go out for cheerleading and basketball? She said, no, I'm going to be in a pageant. I went, what? This was the 70s, and it was Choctaw County, Mississippi. There were no pageants.